Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Good Time Movie Reviews. I'm Wyatt. That's JP. And today we're talking Superman. Superman, the big blockbuster of the summer, or kind of one of the big ones of July. July is going to set the tone for
Yeah.
the entire box office for this year. Superman is here, directed by James Gunn, the first movie of this new DC universe. We have not talked about this movie at all. I just
No.
saw it last night. JP, opening thoughts. Where are you at with this film?
It's very James Gunn. So if you like James Gunn, you're gonna like this. If not, this is not your movie. Yeah, it's the best way I
Okay.
could say that.
And do you like James Gunn?
I like pieces of him. There are definitely parts of this movie where it's like, okay. Um, but I think in terms of heart and quirkiness, uh, and just like how to adapt the feel of a comic book, he lands.
Mm-hmm.
I think very well. Um, it's just some of the other things he does where it's like, sure, I'll sit through this part because the rest is good, kind of thing.
Okay. I I think we're going to be on the same page a lot in this review.
Yeah,
I I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. That being said, I like it more the more I think about it, I think. But maybe it was an expectation thing going in. But I walked out of the theater mildly disappointed in the
mm,
sense where
okay,
like there are parts of this movie that I love, and there are performances in this movie that I
yeah,
love. I just don't think I got enough of those, and we knew it was going to
yeah,
be a crowded movie. We knew there were going to be a lot of people, and I was hoping that wouldn't affect me or affect the overall film experience. And I think it kind of did for me a little bit. There were, I mean, some of the things I loved. I every time Lois and Clark were in a room together, I loved it. I loved every second of it. Rachel Brosnahan
yeah,
might be the highlight of this movie for me. She was incredible. She's great, and I loved her performance. And every time they were just talking to each other, their chemistry was incredible, and I just wanted more of that. And
yeah.
let's be honest, we had Clark Kent in this movie for a minute.
One scene, one and a
He
half
was never
scenes.
Clark. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
which it was like, all right, I get it's a Superman movie, but and part of Clark's, I guess, story is usually Lois not knowing, and then they figure out, and there's a whole thing there. We jump into
yeah.
the story where she already knows, so there's just not much meat on that bone at
I
this point.
I think no, I think that was actually super clever that the reporter knows who he is, and he kind of actually doesn't know who he is, and she's like, "You don't know what you're actually doing." I thought that was fantastic, but the Daily Planet is, like, so underused in this entire movie, and that all the promotional material. I will say this is the most accurate trailer of the year for a guy that's hating on trailers right now.
Okay.
Everything you're like, "Oh, I don't know about this movie because of this in the trailer." That's the movie. So, if you love the trailer, again, this is your movie. But the Daily Planet is the one thing where it's like, "Look, we have the globe, we have the logo, we're doing it legit." Great. For one scene, and the there's a later scene where all the Daily Planet people are in a ship and they're typing on a computer and proofreading and publishing. I think the journalism is done okay, but the characters in the office, I think his name is like Perry White, the lead of the Daily Planet. That
Hmm.
actor is great. All
It's
of these
incredible.
actors
Yeah.
they're all TV actors. Even Rachel Brosnahan, she's in a lot of Amazon Prime stuff. They're all TV actors. And I kind of felt that. Not and like that's on the movie. That is not on the actors. That's on the
Hmm.
movie. Why is there an SNL comedian among them and has the same amount of screen time as like one of the dudes from Jack Ryan. Like Perry White, that actor is a great actor. Why does he have the same screen time as an SNL cameo? That's so stupid. That's like one of my biggest complaints
Okay.
is this movie gets away with a lot of stuff in terms of uh recent events. Let's just say it gets away with a lot of stuff where it's like this movie has balls. I have to
Yeah.
give them credit. And then it's like, all right, we're going to go to the journalists. And it's like, this movie is so pro journalism. These guys are going to be the best characters. And they're the worst characters in the movie. It's baffling. Like, one of the girls, she's just known as Mrs. Cleavage. Like, I was so confused. Like, the movie is cartoony, but when it
Yeah.
goes to the Daily Planet, you get SNL man with a dumb mustache doing his SNL accent. You get the head of it with no screen time. You get the girl with the cleavage, and then you get Rachel Brosnahan and oh, I'm blanking on this actor's name. I love this actor. I think
Jimmy
his name
Olsen?
is like yeah, that
Or I mean the
actor.
character. I don't yeah.
Yes, I love that actor. He's in a lot of smaller movies. I loved his subplot where he just like
Yeah.
gets chicks for like
Yeah.
inexplicably. He's the ladies' man. I love that.
Yeah.
Not enough screen time for any of that, and I think the casting it felt weird. But besides Rachel Brosnahan and that actor, I think the rest of that cast was heavily miscasted and underutilized.
It felt almost to stay on like just the Daily Planet for now. You didn't need the other 5 journalists that we meet
No, you did
brief.
not.
You could have just very easily kept it as like
Yeah.
this little cubicle corner of Clark, Lois, and Jimmy. Like if you
Yep.
keep it like that's the water cooler right there, those
Yep.
3, I think it works the exact same. You don't need the sports reporter dropping random one-liners here and there. That didn't really
Yeah.
land for me. So
No.
like yeah, I just think that is the biggest not I think it's the biggest critique I have but we knew going in, it's hard for me to like be so hung
Yeah.
up on this being a crowded movie. We knew going in it was going to be a crowded movie. So
Yeah.
like I was just I don't know. I think that's a big part of it. It opens up with the title card, like almost Star Wars esque, like, hey, here we are. We're gonna drop you into this world. Let's go. And
Yeah.
it's like 3 centuries ago, 3 years ago, 3 months, 3 days, and it's like,
Three
all right,
minutes. Yeah.
here's Superman now. He just got his ass kicked, and now he's in the middle
Here's
of
here's
the ice.
here's the worst week of Superman's life. That's a
Yeah,
great premise. I loved the
yeah,
start of the movie. It's like the origin story, which I'm gonna be honest for Superman, that's putting a lot of faith on the audience. But it's you know who Superman is. We're just gonna jump into the worst week of his life. He lost his first fight. His girlfriend, that's a rocky relationship. Um, he's not the best at his job, but he's like rising the ranks. And then some stuff starts coming out. Like he gets canceled. It's
yeah,
such a great concept. I love the concept of the movie. Love it. Get rid of half the characters.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You
That's
could
what it
keep it a lot
is.
simpler.
Yeah.
So one thing that I really am hung up on, and I'm struggling to get past, I really did not like this moment in the movie, is so you have the scene with his parents. They have which by the way, I that was Bradley Cooper, right?
Yeah, it
As his dad.
was. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's I saw him, immediately
As
saw him. I was like,
Jor-El, the Kryptonian dad.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's Bradley Cooper. And then there were a few like wide shots where I saw him in the background, and I
Dude.
was like, maybe that's not Bradley Cooper.
The
Like there was
facial
some shots that
distortion
didn't look.
of the wide
Yes,
shots are insane in this movie. Because
it threw me off.
when you cut to a wide angle close up of an actor or a giant kaiju, their face literally warps in front of you because the camera's always moving. So their face warps and then cuts to a different angle that's further away, and then their face is normal again. So they go from like this to this in one cut, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, what the hell? Yeah,
Yeah. So, but
it's
with
bold.
that scene, so we have the message that he listens to, like his comfort, the first half of it, where they're like,
Yes.
"We love you, son, more than anything in this world."
Yep.
Blah, yada yada yada. Great. And then Lex hacks in. They find the other half of the message, and the I'm sure it's comic book accurate. I'm sure his Kryptonian parents are assholes and like the worst.
It
I would
it
hope
depends
so.
on which like
Yeah.
edition. Yeah.
Just the verbiage and like the tone of the second half of that video bothered me so much because it was like, "Son, we
Yep.
love you more than life. We love you like we love so much. We love everything about you. Now go start a harem and rule mercilessly." Like I was like, "Is that really how they would phrase this?" It felt edited, and
Probably
they
not.
talked about it
Yeah.
in the joke. Like they made a joke about it. It's like, "Oh, is this fake? Like did Lex
Yeah.
edit it?" And I thought that like it's so out of left field in terms of like the way they talk about him in the first half of that clip and the second half. I was like, it doesn't even feel like they could even say that in one sitting because it's just two
Yeah.
different vibes. So that
Yeah.
just like really bothered me. I was like, this doesn't feel believable. But
Yeah,
and I
it's
just
yeah.
hung up on that for like most of the first half of the or like second half because that's where that becomes a big thing and he gets canceled because of
And
it. I was like,
the movie
this is
the movie knows it's a stretch. So they have to have 3 different characters be like, "This is legit." Like,
yeah,
it's all credible like, all the credible characters are like, "No, this is real." It's like, "Okay."
yeah,
It was a weird intro to that plot point, but I honestly think it's interesting. And people are
yeah,
even comparing it to the Batman, the Matt Reeves one, where Bruce finds out his dad accidentally got in money trouble with the wrong crowd in Gotham, and how this like perfect pedestal he built for his parents comes crumbling down, and then Alfred, his butler, is like, I raised you. Like,
hmm
your dad was a good guy, but I'm the one that's still here. And that's very much what this Superman movie is doing as well. Is especially with the ending. I think this movie is super messy, but it lands that ending so goddamn well. Where
hmm
he gets to choose who he's going to be, what he is. I think that is very powerful in how they do it. And so, yeah, this movie's a little bit of a mess, especially the middle with I think that video reveal is a little awkward, but it right after it is Green Lantern being like, "Dude, you have a secret harem?" So
yeah,
funny. That's the
that
best.
was good.
That's one of the best jokes of the movie. Um, it's it's the middle after that in the pocket dimension that the pacing slows way down. And honestly,
hmm
this movie is short. It feels long because there's so much crammed into it. This movie's under 2 hours.
Yeah,
I honestly, again, the Justice Gang, like Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawk Girl. I like that they show up for the first 2 scenes. Show up with the kaiju and then kind of like take care of the astral imp or something in the background of that
yeah,
scene where Green Lantern is just hitting it with a baseball bat. So funny. Like that character
yeah,
is very well defined in this movie. James Gunn loves making Nathan Fillion a bumbling idiot. It's so good. Don't have them come back after that. I know people like Mr. Terrific when he like comes in to save the day, but with him coming in to save the day, that means Lois Lane is just kind of there for the ride. Like there's so many
yeah,
little moments where the main characters have to kind of stand there and let random side characters steal a scene because James Gunn likes this whole ensemble element of his superhero movies. Like Metamorpho, the guy that could like change into different elements and stuff, he has to have a change of heart. Superman can't convince him. He has to convince himself. Why? This is Superman's movie. Let Superman convince him to be better. Let Lois Lane, the reporter, find wherever the hell Superman is. That's like her
Yeah.
one job in the movie, and she goes to find someone else to do it for her. It's
Yeah.
that's the real problem with this movie is you have like four real main characters: Superman, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, who's great in
Lex.
this, and
Yep.
a little bit of Jimmy Olsen. I like that subplot, keep it in. But it's all these other characters that are kind of like elbowing their way into the runtime. It's like, no, get them out. Get them out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
That's the
was
main
the
thing.
frustration. And with Lois, I think I'm glad they let her be a journalist, and she
Yeah.
writes the story about Lex. She finds that out, and she does actual journalism, which felt like a nod at like current modern day state of journalism, which you
Yes.
could argue doesn't even exist. Like good journalism in that standpoint, it's very hard to find. Um, and yeah, so I'm glad she got
Yeah.
the age. If she is like a damsel in distress in this movie, I hate this movie. She
Right.
saves it
She
enough for
never
me.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, she positions herself and she pushes back at Superman. I love that interview scene, and I know we saw parts of it in the
Yeah.
trailer.
Oh, that
'Cause
seems
that
great.
is like that sums up like what this
Yes.
version of Superman is, where just I think those conversations and those questions that are posed in it are so good, and like there's so
Yeah.
much to chew on there. Like cuz Superman knows he has the ability to go save people, but then you start the checks and balances of should he step in where no one asked him to, and then the ramifications of
Yeah.
that. That's a very interesting movie right there. And again, there's
Mhm.
just so much around it that you lose like the heart of those questions, which I was so interested in. Like I just the idea of him
Yeah.
getting involved in this political climate that is very pressing to us movie watchers at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting to tackle those. I think it was just not fleshed out as much as I wanted it to be.
Yeah. The movie gets distracted. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good way to put it. Um, where was I gonna go with this? I wanna talk about Lex. I
Okay, I'm gonna
love
say something real quick. I'm gonna say something real quick.
Okay, go.
This is what I thought. Um, this movie, we kept saying this is gonna be like the Iron Man of the DCU. It's not the Iron Man of the DCU because this feels like a sequel to a movie that doesn't exist. In terms of like
Yeah. That's a
Superman's
great
already
yeah.
established, everything's already established, and we're kind of just jumping right into it. I like it, but it feels a little awkward that we're like trying to catch up while the characters are already where they are. This is the
Yeah,
Force Awakens of the DCU.
okay.
This is not Iron Man. People are saying it's like Avengers, which I kind of agree with. No, this is the Force Awakens of the MCU. It's a reboot that like sort of still exists in one of the cinematic universes. This is very much like the Richard Donner Superman from 78. It uses the same music. It tries to use the same color palette in terms of the suit and the hopefulness. It tries to re uh revive that movie as much as possible. So it's The Force Awakens because when Force Awakens came out, people were like, Star Wars is back, Superman is back. And oh, thank God it's not like the prequels. Oh, thank God it's not Zack Snyder. And but is it good? I had a good time. It's the same as Force Awakens. It is messy. It retreads a lot of stuff, but also it brings in a lot of new stuff. The highlight is honestly the villain and the main characters. At least in Force Awakens, the main characters aren't that defined. Um, but at least in Superman, the main characters are very defined. But it's very much like I like it. I have to wait to see what comes next to say if it's good or not. That's what it is.
Fair, fair. Yeah, I think people are gonna make that comparison to like an Iron Man because you're kicking off the cinematic universe, which isn't necessarily fair because cinematic universes like this weren't really, there was no comparison point for Iron Man. Iron Man wasn't trying
Yeah.
to kick off. It didn't know what it was really kicking off.
I think
Like Superman,
For the MCU comparison, this is Avengers. This is not
yeah,
Iron Man. This is Avengers. Yeah.
100%. Or like you could argue like maybe Civil War because that's like a Captain America movie, but you still have everybody. But I don't know. It's unfair to compare it to Iron Man because
Yeah.
we know what Superman is trying to start. Iron Man,
Yes.
if it
Yeah.
failed, if it sucked, we don't like. There's no way they made Iron Man. We're like, well, this is eventually going to lead to the Infinity Gauntlet. It's like they didn't know that.
Right.
They didn't know what it could be. Now that that blueprint is there for what the MCU became, the DCU now knows what it could be. So that's why this movie
But
maybe had
we
so much writing on it.
we also forget that after Iron Man was Incredible Hulk, the MCU does not talk about that movie.
Well, it
They
did recently.
retconned. That's true. That's true. Took like what, 15
Took
years?
16 years. Yeah.
But like when all of like the Avengers and afterwards, it's like, nah, we got Mark Ruffalo. This Hulk is different. We like mentioned the final fight scene maybe once, but like that character and that whole story was completely changed by the
Mhm.
second time he showed up. So the MCU, it's like, well, Iron Man started it and then boom, we were going. Not really. Like Iron Man made money, made a lot of money. Hulk did not. I think Captain America was next or Thor. I think it was Captain America. That one barely made money. And then Thor was like, ugh. It was a rocky start. And then Avengers is really what got it going. I think Superman is a little bit like that, where it's like these numbers are good, not great. They're solid. And so we're gonna kick off now. Yeah.
Gotcha. Let's talk about Nicholas Holt, Lex Luthor. I thought he was incredible in this role.
Yeah.
I think he had a lot of fun with it. You could tell he was having fun with it. It again, I'm not like the most up to like I don't know too much about the character, like how comic book accurate it is, whatever. I can compare it to other like live action Lex Luthors we've seen,
He's
but
the best
I think
one. He's the best one in
yeah,
terms of live action. Yeah.
yeah, I think you understand his motivations, where he's coming from. He's smart in terms of how he's going about as just a normal human versus this alien. And he's how
Hmm.
do I take down Superman? Yeah, no, I just think Nicholas Holt is fantastic in this. There's
Yeah.
one scene that he has that like shocked me. I didn't know. I was like, I didn't know we could do that in a Superman movie when he's interrogating Superman in the little pocket universe, and he
Yeah.
brings out the one guy that like helps Superman up. He just like knows him in passing,
Yeah.
and he just executes him. It
Yeah.
was like, whoa! I didn't know we could. Like, in my head, I'm like, this is Superman. This is a kids movie. We can't do that, and they just do it. It was like a whoa
Yeah.
moment.
The stuff this movie gets away with is insane. And a lot of it has to do with Lex Luthor. I don't know how James Gunn, for like the first movie of a future franchise, the amount of money riding on this movie, and he's like, hey, the bad guy is going to be this. He's going to be a tech billionaire that has an army of, well, he has several different kinds of armies. Let's just say that. Some online trolls and kind of a
Yeah.
paramilitary, and he's in bed with this oligarch dictator overseas that wants to invade another country. And Zaslav was like, yeah, sure, okay. Like, what?
Yeah.
I have no idea how he got away with that. And when I watched the movie, I did think the dictator, I thought it was Putin, and he is pretty much Putin. But a lot of people are saying it's Israel Palestine, not Russia Ukraine. It's a little
Yeah.
bit of both. Yeah, very surprising that James
Yeah.
Gunn got away with that. And so
And then
you
he
have a
also, I mean,
billionaire.
well,
Yeah,
he also takes the people he doesn't like and puts them in a pocket dimension and
yeah,
isolates
puts him
them
in a camp.
in
Yeah,
cells, like in a
yeah.
camp. Yeah, it's crazy.
And a billionaire that doesn't like this guy because, oh, he's from somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's not one of my people. So the fact that he's better than me, I want him gone. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
In
Yeah.
the biggest movie of the year. Like all of that being
Yeah.
said, it is like the movie of the year. Superman is like going to define the box office of 2025 in terms of just like it's not going to be number 1. You're going to have what is it
It's
right
number
now? Lilo and
3.
Stitch?
It's number 3 right now. So
Okay.
it's Lilo and Stitch,
Minecraft.
Minecraft, Superman. Um
Yeah.
well, it has the third biggest opening of the weekend only because Jurassic World Rebirth opened on a Wednesday for July 4th. So it's number 3, number 4.
Yeah.
Right now it's number
But
4 in terms of box office.
it
Yeah.
feels like the blockbuster of the summer. I mean, you can whatever the
Yeah.
box office says, it feels like this is Superman. I mean, it's Superman. Like that's all you have to say.
Yeah.
So to pack all of that in there, a lot of like personal issues to James Gunn, where he's like, I'm gonna. And so I saw someone make the point. It's like James Gunn, in a weird way, is like making himself Superman in terms of he was
Cuz he got
canceled
canceled.
all
Yeah, he
time.
got canceled on Twitter.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like this
Yeah.
is a very personal movie for James Gunn. And I mean, my problems with the movie aside, again, you have to respect the balls of James Gunn to just say, I'm going to make this movie regardless of what other
Yeah.
people think because
Yeah.
this is something I care about and I want to put in a movie. This is a personal movie. And at the end of the day, that's what we want out of movies. We want filmmakers and
Yeah.
creative
Oh yeah.
teams behind it care about what they're doing and not just, hey, here's a fifth Captain America movie. Congratulations, you're gonna go sit down and watch it anyways. Like
Here's a
there's
7th
thought,
Jurassic Park movie.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at
I
least there's
yeah.
that. Like again, I can have my issues with it, but I can. I'm glad this movie exists a lot, and I do think there is a very, very good Superman movie in this. I just think there's
Yes.
also others. That's
It
how I
goes
put
on
it.
tangents.
There's a
Yeah.
great Superman movie here with other stuff,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
basically it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like the most James Gunn movie ever. In terms of all the superhero ensembles he's done, it's it doesn't get more James Gunn than this. Um
Yeah,
in terms of like all the 3 Guardians movies, the Suicide Squad and this one, I'd say maybe it's number 3 out of the 5. I
yeah,
think
where yeah, I put I'd put Guardians 3 above it
I would
in my
too.
opinion,
Yeah. I
and
think
I don't know where else I'd put where I'd rank it. I would have to sit down and think about it.
yeah.
I haven't seen
I
the
think
other
I
2
would put
Guardians.
Guardians 1. I would put Guardians 1 above it only because like James Gunn loves losers and it's really hard to paint Superman as a loser. he
Yeah,
he defines Superman in a super interesting way. I love this Superman and David Cornsweet is amazing. He makes him much more vulnerable emotionally and
yeah,
physically. And I think like for the better. If he's like a legit god like he is in all the other movies except when Kryptonite shows up, it's really boring. And so the fact that the whole oh you can't be in 2 places at once, they bring that into the movie. That's always like what you have to do with Superman. It's like I'm going to fire a missile at California and New York, and it's like he has to race and get
mhm,
both of them. This movie he can't be at 2 places at once. And his whole family dynamic is called into question. Even his girlfriend is like, "Wow, are we gonna break up after this?" And all that
yeah,
stuff. It's very well done to like break down Superman as far as possible with him still being the strongest guy in this cinematic universe. Very well
yeah.
done. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think the more I think about it, I was caught up in expectations a little too much where I was maybe harsher
Mhm.
coming out of theater than I should have been because there are so many good things about this and it's not perfect by any means, but it's it leaves me confident still in like James Gunn ability to show heart and just make you care about weird characters. Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, there's always weird characters where you can kind of remove the humanity from it, and like it's hard to really relate to a tree, a raccoon, and even Superman, who is the most
Yeah.
powerful person ever, and it can be hard to relate to them sometimes, and he does such a good job of making you care about these characters.
He puts more humanity into those weird little guys than the rest of his other
The
characters.
actual humans. Yeah.
Yes, that's like his number one strength. So yeah.
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 Um, let's see. Anything else from this movie you want to talk about? I think I talked about
Um
most of the things I really enjoyed.
there's trying to think. There's some things that like you kind of expect in a Superman movie that are not in this. Like the whole he flies up into space and he smiles at the camera. They don't do that. I'm glad I like this ending. This ending is fantastic. And he does smile at the camera, but like yeah. What else?
Oh,
He uses
okay,
his like
one thing.
frost breath more than his heat vision, which is like that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even
The
think
one
Henry
critique
Cavill ever used that, but
there, or not critique, the number one like thing that people have enjoyed, and like the comment I've seen the most on social media about this movie is, and you touched on it earlier, is that it feels like reading a comic. Like it feels like
yes. Yeah.
straight out of a comic book, which I kind of want to push back on that a little bit, because at some
Okay.
point I'm like, and I agree with what they're saying, but I'm like, I kind of want my movie to feel like a movie, not a comic book,
Mm,
if that makes sense. Where as it feels like this movie was made for comic book um, readers, which is fine, which is great, but that's not me. So I think that's
mhm.
maybe a part of the disconnect too, which is fine. Like I can understand, like, hey, the people who are knee deep in the comic books are going to appreciate this a little bit more than I am, and I can understand that. So I think that's kind of where I'm coming from. Is sometimes I want my movie to feel like a movie, not a comic book, and I think
True.
that's kind of bothering me a little bit. I'm like, I get it, but if you like the comic book so much, keep reading the comic books. This is a
Well,
movie. It's a comic book
it's
movie.
it's not just a comic book. It's it's like a silver age, pulpy, colorful, vibrant, hopeful comic book. Like comic books today are much more I don't actually read them, but I'm pretty sure comic books today are much more serious and kind of darker tones and darker colors. So the fact that this movie is so colorful, like I'm talking 60s level of printing, vibrant primary colors level of color grade to this. It's evoking an age that no longer exists. So it's a kind of adaptation. It's not just I'm meeting my audience where they are because the audience is not there anymore. The audience of comic books have moved on from that. He's trying to pull that back into now. So it's the old timey rose colored glasses style of Silver Age comic books and where Superman really got all of his defining quirks and putting that into a modern age where billionaires are in this movie, a billionaire starts a war just to spite this one dude. Like that kind of it's bringing it into a modern age, bringing a Silver Age comic book hero, a Superman with the red underwear and a dog with a cape and robots in his mansion in Antarctica, putting that into a modern age where journalism is at threat and billionaires are all powerful and nations are at war, but we're allied with the wrong people. So what is he supposed to do? It's that combination that makes this movie it's kind of the best part of this movie in terms of like the broad strokes. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think another positive thing I would say, like a takeaway from this movie, is there's a difference between like needing to know more and to do your homework like we have been in the MCU for a while,
Yeah.
where it's like you need to have seen this, you need to know this, and this. Where this movie almost has the opposite effect where I want to know more. Like I'm almost
Oh
calling
yeah.
myself out for like
Yeah.
I kind of want to dive into maybe the comics a little bit more and understand the background of Superman, Lex, and all these characters a little bit more. Not out of necessity to understand whatever's coming next, but just because hey, these characters are so well done and like I said before, I wanted more of those performances because there were some really good performances in
Yeah.
there and fun
Yeah.
characters. So it makes me want to know more rather than I need to know more just to understand the next film. So I think that's a positive. I don't know if that was the
Yeah.
like the intended James Gunn's thinking about that, but just from my perspective as someone
I
who's
think
not deep into the comics, that's where
I
it kind of had left me.
I think it is because every follow-up project that's in the DCU pipeline, we've already seen all those characters to an extent.
Mhm.
Like, this is the end of the episode, so like we saw Supergirl. There might be a
Yeah.
Jimmy Olsen TV show. There's going to be a Green Lantern TV show. Like
Peacemaker was in this movie for half a
Peacemaker,
second.
I loved that cameo. That was so funny. He's like, "Oh, they're
Yeah.
just jealous because I got bigger muscles than them." It's like that's amazing. It's all of those, and I think even in the Peacemaker show, he auditions for the Justice Gang, and they're like, "You're a loser. Why would we let you on our team?"
Yeah.
So we, it's like this movie is a little awkward in introducing everybody, but now everyone is introduced. So for the
Mhm.
next like 5, 6 projects, which James Gunn has said they're all going to have different tones and different styles. So for me, I don't like the wide angles, the wide camera angles, zooming around the CGI camera that's floating everywhere. The next project might be filmed completely differently. So I'll like it more.
Yeah.
And I already know at least one of the characters in that show. He's he has laid a solid foundation, which is the opposite of the MCU. Where the hell is Shang-Chi? Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
we're doing like a fifth Spider-Man movie. We're doing a third Black Panther movie. That one makes sense. But like, what about the new characters? What are we doing? He's doing the
Yeah.
exact opposite of the MCU, and I'm all here for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great foundation. It's definitely messy, but there's a lot of good in there, and that's kind of where I'll wrap up there.
Mhm.
Scores wise, where do you land on this?
I think I gave it a score higher than you. I'm giving it a 7 because of what it
Okay,
gets away with. Yeah.
gotcha. So, I mean, technically on my scale, I gave it a 77 out of 100, which is a 3
Oh,
out of
okay.
5. Yeah, it's again, I
All right.
understand how frustrating my scale is. It
Yeah.
just makes sense in my brain. And
Okay.
I have to always I'm trying to be better at using Letterbox because I'm conforming and I've pushed away it for so long, but I'm like, "You know what? I need to grow up and
Yeah.
just do what everyone else does." It's like the evolution of like, "Hey, don't fall into peer pressure." And at some point you're just like, "Dude, just
Yeah.
everyone's doing it."
Yeah.
So to break it down, I have 5 stars is 95 to 100, 4.5, 90 to
Okay.
94, 4 stars, 85 to 90, 3.5, 80 to 85, 3 stars, 70 to 80, and then the bottom under 70 is like 2.5 to 1.5.
So there's like a
So that's
curve to it?
it's a little bit. There's a little bit of a curve. It's a little bit of a curve. It's
Okay.
complicated. It's so arbitrary. It doesn't make sense because who really cares? Who cares what my number is?
No, it doesn't
Um,
matter. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it literally does
Yeah.
not matter. It's just for my own filing system in my head. I want to be able to like
Yeah.
easily differentiate 3 stars. I think that's what's always bothered me, and we've talked about it. 5 stars.
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
probably have like 1,000 movies in like the 4 star category. How do I differentiate between all of them? So in
Yeah.
order to break it up, I go 0 to 100. But I understand that can annoy people. Everyone I tell it to gets mad at me, but it's all right. I'm okay with it. Um, all right, so next up, we're gonna have probably Fantastic Four, right? Because that's next week, right?
It's the week after this one. Eddington comes out
Yeah.
this week. I'm excited for that.
Okay.
I don't give a shit about I Know What You Did Last Summer. I haven't seen the original.
Mm,
All those actors, I love all those actors in the new one. They're all super hot, so great casting choice. I
Yep.
do not care about that series. So, yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So I think that I mean I don't think I'm gonna see Paddington or Eddington. Sorry, I don't know why I said. When's that out?
Very different.
Very different.
Eddington comes out Friday. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So maybe I'll get around to seeing it. If not, I think the next one we'll do will be Fantastic Four, which will be a
Yeah.
good comparison point for this movie. So,
Yes. Yeah.
all right, everyone, let us know what you think about the Superman movie. Appreciate you guys watching this far, and we'll see you next time.